Morgan Smith. Welcome to Jock Sports' first special interview edition. Mesa Community College of the Western States Football League has had a long history and a winning tradition, having claimed 2 national titles until recently. Wanting to return to their former glory, the school's leadership went out and hired the 3rd winningest coach in community college history, just 4 wins short of number 2 and chasing number 1. In 24 years at Dixie State College in Utah, he had an average season record of 9 wins and only 2 losses. Some have referred to him as legendary. My co-host Joey Lawrence had a chance to spend a few minutes recently with the new head football coach at Mesa Community College, Greg Croshaw. I hope you enjoy this interview and be watching for many more throughout the year of interesting personalities involved in athletics right here on jocksports.com.
I'm here with Mesa Community College football coach Greg Croshaw. Coach, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you on being inducted into the Dixie State Athletics Hall of Fame.
Thank you. You know, it's a great privilege for me and an honor for my family and I. 24 years there, and it's kind of like leaving home when I left there and came here. But I'm excited to be here. It'll be good to go back and accept that honor, and then we'll move forward from here.
Awesome, very good. You spent 24 years at that school and took a dying football program and built a 214-56 record with 1 tie. What made you the right man for the job?
I think I was the right guy at the right time. You know, there's luck involved in all of this, and then I had an outstanding staff that stayed with me for most all of that 24 years, which is pretty remarkable. And then had literally thousands of players that came through year after year that believed in what we were doing and thought they would have an opportunity to play and move on, and most of them did if they reached their potential as junior college players. And so, that was a great run in my career, and I'm looking forward to trying to copy that again here at Mesa Community.
Exactly. Yeah. Very nice. You received your master's degree from Brigham Young University in '75 and accepted the head coaching job at Dixie State roughly 7 years later. What were you doing during those years?
Well, it was a great opportunity for me. I actually had coached at Dixie College as an assistant 2 years, and then was fortunate enough to get to BYU at a time when Coach Lavelle Edwards was just getting rolling on his tremendous run. So I had an opportunity to spend a couple of years under what he did and learn some great lessons there. And then I coached at Snow College for 4 years, and then at Northern Arizona University for 3 years before I was able to go back and get that head job at Dixie College.
Awesome. Very good. While at Dixie State, you won 17 WSFL conference titles and had 2 national runner-up finishes. When you took that job, were you confident you would be so successful?
Well, I don't know a coach that doesn't think he has all the answers, but after an 0-3 start, I thought maybe I should be selling insurance or doing something else. Fortunately for me, we were able to get a win on that 4th game and then kind of got things rolling. And the more that they roll, it's kind of like a snowball going down a hill. It starts feeding and building upon itself. And like I said, I was very fortunate. I was the guy that got most of the credit, but it wasn't because there weren't many other people behind the scenes that helped make that successful, from administration, community, assistant coaches, and players.
What was it like making the jump from coaching junior college to a semi-pro football team?
Well, it was kind of easy because probably 3/4 of the guys on that semi-pro team were guys that played for me in college and then went on to major universities and then local kids from the high school. And it was a much more laid-back, practice once a week. The players bring their kids to practice. It's a whole different scenario than it is dealing at this level. But it was a lot of fun. And at the same time, I actually was coaching more when I was out of coaching than I was when I've been a head coach. I was a defensive coordinator for a local high school and coaching a semi-pro, so my wife was glad to see me get back into coaching so I could maybe spend a little more time at home.
There you go. Well, that actually kind of brings me right into my next question. I was going to say, while coaching the Blitz in St. George, you were also defensive coordinator at Pineview High School. Was your focus on defense part of the reason your opponents average under 10 points per game?
Well, that's been my side of the ball. I've been a defensive coach all my life as an assistant. That's what I was. I played on the defensive side, and so you can score all the points you want, but if the defense can hold them to 0, the worst you can do is a tie. You can lose 58-59. So I've always felt like defense played a big part in success. That was where my love of the game came, and so as a head coach, I've stayed on that side of the ball and turned the offense over to other people, and I'm extremely confident in the guys we have here, Coach Doherty and the rest of his people that help there, Coach McLean, and we've got two great offensive line coaches, and Coach Gloden and Stevenson and Coach Reed with the receivers. And I simply said, hey, here's the game plan. You score 35, and I'll figure out how to hold them to 34.
There you go. It's perfect. What are your expectations for the Thunderbirds this year?
Well, I have high expectations, and I think any coach that gets into the realm of coaching feels like every game you go into, no matter what the people outside say, you always feel like you have a chance to win if you execute your game plan and your guys play to the best of their ability. So that will be no different. It's a big step up, obviously, for a lot of guys that were 1-9 last year. We've got to change the mental outlook, the preparation. I think the guys have accepted that. The early practices have gone well. I'm excited to get going, excited to get the scrimmage out of the way and then prepare for our first game and hope that just everything falls into place and we go straight ahead. You also have to be concerned at this level, as I always was at Dixie, as depth is maybe sometimes always a huge factor, and that will depend upon how guys go through the season, are able to stay healthy. We've had two pretty devastating injuries already. One last spring with a linebacker that had to have ACL reconstruction, one of our better players, I think, and now another middle linebacker that's going through the same thing. We're hoping to be able to patch him together so that he can. Can't you read? Can't you read, Brunt? So then we had the second linebacker this fall that has received the same type of injury, not quite as serious, at least we hope. We've gone through see the doctors, the MRIs, and they're trying to rehab him and hold off on the surgery until after the season. So, but that's going to be a real concern, and that will always be the case at this level. Hopefully you've got enough guys that can jump in and fill in when an injury occurs, but that always plays a big role in your success at this level.
Okay. You are 4 wins away from the second most wins in junior college history and 35 wins away from first. Is that ever on your mind?
Well, it certainly was when I took the job. I never much worried about it while I was coaching. I never even thought about it, didn't know. And then when Dixie decided to go to Division II, somebody said, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me. I always was just trying to plan for the next game and really didn't. They just kind of accumulated, and I didn't, had a 150 and then there was 200, and I thought, okay. And you look on sports and you see a Paterno with 400, and Bowden with 380 or whatever it was, and so all of a sudden 250 doesn't, and you think, well, that'll never, But, all of a sudden they found out, it's played a part in my coming back. I love junior college football. It's what I do. It's what I've done, obviously, and like to do. It's a level I really enjoy. I like taking guys that, for whatever reason, weren't quite ready to go to Division I or didn't get, maybe academically, maybe physically, speed-wise, whatever. Gives them 2 more years to develop and then see how far I can take them. And usually the top players that start in these type leagues, and especially this league, the WSFL, a lot of those guys end up with an opportunity to go play Division I football. And then you feel like you've done them a service, done the players a service, and that's what we're all about. So in a roundabout way, yes, I didn't know anything about second, to tell you the truth. That's the first I've heard about that. But I thought, well, if I could come back and stay healthy and get enough years into maybe at 35, that'd be a kind of an interesting thing. It'd be obviously special to have that opportunity. But again, that goes back to, you need to thank a whole lot of people that the wave you're able to ride to get there, from assistant coaches to players, because it wouldn't happen if I was out there trying to play it.
Great answer, Coach. Thank you very much for your time here. Appreciate it. And there will be more coming along with Jock Sports.